What is up, everyone? It is the Osmo.com NHL Hit the Ice show. We have a big 13-game slate to talk about. First day back for the NHL after a 3 or 4 day layoff. So hope you guys aren't too rusty. If you are, we will help you walk through it. Steve, how are you doing? How was the break?
Not too bad at all. I enjoyed the time off, but it felt like forever since we've done this. So happy to get back into it. Hopefully everybody else had or enjoying their holidays. Whoever's still on the holidays, I guess. I'm sure a bunch of people are still off work, so must be nice. But yeah, looking forward to getting hockey back and going tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Just huge slate. I don't know. Do you prefer like jumping back in on the big slates, or would you rather have like a 5 or 6 gamer?
Not really. I'd rather have a smaller slate, especially considering, when guys come back from breaks, it's only been 3 days, but get ready to see some serious randomness tonight. Some teams are just going to come out real flat. Don't expect to see much defense at all.
Sure.
We see this every year. Even the lightest break, defense goes right out the window the second you come back. No one's really, trying all that hard or whatever you want to call it. They're not really mentally strong. They're a little bit rusty. So just like at the beginning of the season, you expect a lot of goals tonight.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of hard when you have a huge slate, right? You have to cover a lot of bases. So it's good that they have a pretty big MME tournament tonight. So at least that $5 standpoint is pretty good for that.
Yeah. Are you playing that?
Yeah, I'll try. I think I'll max that.
Yeah. I've got 100 in there right now. Probably going to just throw in the extra 50 because I really want exposure, at least a little bit, to basically all the top spots. Like, I don't see one where I'm actively trying to fade.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't fade anybody, and I wouldn't fade anybody that appears to have a tough matchup.
Sure.
Because I think the defensive play goes, as I said, goes right out the window.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just bet on talent tonight.
Yeah, I like it. Brandon says he's still in MN. This weather today sucks. Yeah, it's bad. It's pretty gross out here. It was like snowing last night, and then this morning it was raining, so it's just super slippery. Good thing I don't have to drive very far for my commute, so not too bad for me, but it looks pretty gross outside.
I think we're about to get that tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure it's heading your way. So
yeah, it's freezing cold today, but it's -10 in Celsius for.
Okay.
That would be below 32 for you guys.
Right.
And tomorrow's going to be +10, so pretty big swing.
Yeah, that is big swing.
Yeah, big storm coming in.
Looks like we got some people already in here, so we can get started. I'm sure people are excited to be talking about hockey after a little bit of a layoff. So we'll start with some injury news off the top in the Devils and Bruins. 2.6 implied total for the Devils, 3.4 for the Bruins. It's going to be Mackenzie Blackwood going up against Yaroslav Halak, and possibly no Taylor Hall for the Devils. He was not at morning skate this morning. I guess technically a game time decision. And that would make Boston 1 very appealing, even more appealing than they usually are. They're super expensive, but what are we doing here with Boston 1 in this game, Steve?
Yeah, they're great. They're just really expensive. That's the toughest part. They're great projection. I think it's a good spot in general. Devils are terrible on the road. Bruins are awesome at home. The one thing I've noticed, though, the Devils' numbers have gotten a lot better over the last 10 games or so, last month. Their underlying numbers, their possession numbers have gotten way better. They're generating more shots on goal, and they're giving up far less. Their numbers are almost identical to the Bruins over the last 10
Really?
at 5-on-5. Yeah, but the Bruins also did just get Bergeron back 2 games ago, so that's just a massive boost. So I don't know. I'm not going to read too much into it. If there's no Taylor Hall tonight, so I'm not particularly interested in the Devils at all.
Is there no Taylor Hall? Is that confirmed?
No, I'm just assuming.
Okay, that's
maybe that's wrong, but even if he does play, if he plays, I'm going to get exposure to that line because, like I said at the top of the show, it appears to be a very difficult matchup. But on a night like this, I mean, anything can really happen. There's a lot of variance, so you just bet on talent. The lines play the lines that are capable of scoring 3 goals, regardless of how tough the matchups are. That's probably my best advice. But there's also no need to go down to shittier lines like the Devils, whatever they have now. So.
Yeah, like Zajac and co.
Yeah, that line is actually pretty solid, but a 13-game slate, I don't think They really need to go there. If you need a filler line, like I don't hate that Zajac line. Their numbers are
really?
pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe I spoke too soon.
In general, I mean, I don't think I'm going to go there tonight, but for a pretty cheap line, their underlying numbers are pretty solid, I think.
Sure. So Jesper Bratt would be the guy that would probably take his place, according to Nolan. In his article, he also mentioned about Taylor Hall, if he goes, that he's likely to be super, super low owned. So if that's something you guys are interested in, if you're MMEing tonight, maybe get a couple lineups of that New Jersey one if they are intact and Hall ends up playing. But yeah, I'm kind of the same with you. I want to jam in Boston one. Like I love the idea in theory, but I was only getting like 6, 7, 8% on my first few crunches, and so maybe that comes in a little bit below the field, but certainly going to have some Boston one. Like I want them with some of these cheap fillers that we're going to mention as we go on. They're probably the best line in hockey. I mean, them or Colorado won. So it's just hard to not have some exposure to them when there are some viable lines you can fit with them.
There are a few. They're just hard to find. Right? Yeah. They are the most expensive line of the night. That's the problem.
Yeah. Boston too. I heard some talk about them in some chats I was in earlier today.
I mean, I could see some potential there. DeBrusk's just coming back from injury, though. They haven't really played together with that line. They've been mixing and matching those guys. Maybe at some point, but I don't know. I think they're just fine. They're not. It's not a line I'm going to target, though.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you had any interest because I really didn't get any of them in my first few punches, so didn't know if I was.
Nothing really stands out for them for me.
Okay.
And I think they play against that double second line, which is decent enough. Yeah. But offensively, so far this season, they're not bad. Their numbers they're pretty solid, but they're not. Nothing pops out for me here.
Sure. We got any defensemen you want to mention outside of like Torrey Krug, who's power play 1 guy, 6K, expensive, really tough to fit in with Boston 1 if you're going that route. But I like him as a one-off quite a bit. I don't know about you.
Yeah, he's solid. I struggle with these expensive power play defensemen in good spots as one-offs. Like whether it's good to play them as a one-off because their value is going to be tied to Bergeron, Pasternak, and Marchand. So maybe as a it might be hard to find lines to fit with all 4 of those guys.
Sure.
In one sense, so maybe it makes sense to have him just as a one-off. But if he goes off, Bergeron, Marchand, and Pasternak are likely to have gone off too.
Right. You would probably need like the goal and assist performance from Krug, and then Boston 1 to stay pretty quiet or just get on the assists. On the power play, something like that. So
or maybe just 2-3 goals for them is not enough to pay off the full line value on a night like this.
That's
true. Maybe other lines that are cheaper get 3 goals as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say like it might take 3 or 4 goals for a line to be the absolute nuts on a slate this big because there are so many good spots.
Yeah.
Goalies, Blackwood or Halak for 8K. Blackwood 6,800 on DK.
To be honest, I haven't really looked at goalie prices on this slate. Halak, though, looks like a very solid option here. As I mentioned at the top, Devils have been increasing their shot attempts per game at 5-on-5 and all that. So I think he can see some volume here.
Yep. Halak's the one that I'm targeting a little bit in this game, even at 8K. And then I don't have anything for Blackwood. If I end up with him, it'd be like 1 or 2 lineups out of 150 and just for the price.
Yeah, and I just don't think you have to, but I wouldn't be surprised if he showed up in some crunches and that, but
sure,
I wouldn't choose him.
All right, Blue Jackets and the New York Rangers. We've got a 2.9 implied total for the Blue Jackets, 2.7 for the Rangers. Jonas Korpisalo going up against likely Henrik Lundqvist. We've got Kreider with Hayes and Zuccarello on that Rangers second line, Zibanejad, Hedl, and Buchnevich. On the top line, I think this is the second game we're seeing with those top 6 for the Rangers. Everything pretty much the same for Columbus. Do you like this game from a DFS perspective? Just over 5.5 implied total here. I expected it to be like a 6 total, but I don't know about you.
Yeah, I like Columbus 1. I like them always, really. But they have the multi-goal upside that we're looking for here. And the Rangers have not been great. At all, really. I was just looking. They're high danger chances against, their shot attempts against. They're taking them. They're up there in times shorthanded recently. Columbus has a high projected power play
Yep.
number tonight. I think it's a good even strength matchup for Columbus here, really.
Yeah, I like it. I'm not getting a ton of Columbus one. Like, I guess you got to kind of make a stand somewhere with so many games, but
they're up there in price.
Yeah, that's the issue. Like, I have Edmonton one and like even Tampa one or Tampa two, who I'm not really getting a ton of projected for more points. So it's tough for me to get to this Panarin line if I'm not using a lot of randomness on Fantasy Cruncher. So I guess that's the issue. Maybe up my randomness a little bit and get some exposure to them. But yeah, I think like in a vacuum, they are a very, very good play. The line I'm getting a little bit of for Columbus is the Jenner, Bjorkstrand, Anderson line. Just cheap enough as kind of a filler if you're looking for someone like Boston 1 or one of these super expensive lines and you're trying to get in a power play 1 quarterback, then this is a line you can go to. They're probably going to see a lot of this Rangers depth, which, as you mentioned, they're not great defensively. Their depth certainly isn't great at forward. And, that's the main line I've got for Columbus. And then Hayes, Kreider, Zuccarello, full power play correlation. Hard to avoid them at their price. What do you think about them?
Yeah, for sure. I like that. And then, the Rangers power play is interesting tonight. Bob's not in net, and the Rangers have been generating a lot of high danger chances on their power play over the last little while. So I think it looks like a good spot for that.
Did you see, by chance, who is on the top power play for the Rangers? Which defenseman? Because we don't have anyone.
I haven't really looked, but I'm going to assume it's Pionk, right?
We've got him listed as the second power play. I'm trying to go on Daily Faceoff and confirm. Maybe you just didn't download correctly or something. But I didn't see anything from the beat writers this morning on.
Oh, they have no defenseman. They have Nemestikov there. So I saw, I was actually looking at this on the weekend. I think they played Philly. They mixed some time with all 5 forwards, but then they also had Pionk on there as well.
Okay. So Pionk's probably the guy then. 47.
Yeah, most likely. They may try the 5 forward approach for a touch, but I assume it's going to be Pionk if there's anybody.
Okay. Yep. And Bots in chat also says the Rangers practice 5 forwards. Okay. Interesting. Florida tried that for a little while earlier in the season, I think, and they got away from it pretty quickly. Do you have any interest in the goalies or the Blue Jackets defenseman here?
Always Jones. I mean, he's always in play. And then, I just kind of include Werenski and Murray.
Yeah.
Time to time, I'll include them. But it's Jones. If you're gonna target anybody, it's Jones for sure.
We're showing Werenski on the top power play at only 4,400 with Panarin, Dubois, and Atkinson. You think that'll stick, or is that just speculation?
That I'm not sure. It must be something they practice because I doubt they used that recently in a game. But no, actually, they had Jones and Werenski on the top unit last game.
Oh, okay.
Jones, Werenski with the full top line.
Oh, that's nice. Yes,
against New Jersey.
Nice. $1,800 savings off of Jones. So just thought I should probably mention that. The goalies, I will have decent amounts of both low total in this game, but I think we both think a decent amount of shots on both sides and cheap goalies. So Korpisalo and Lundqvist both in play for me. I don't have a super strong lean either way, but we'll have some of both of these guys.
Yeah, same. Yeah, nothing really strong, but I'll have a touch of each.
Sure. All right, let's go to the Red Wings and the Penguins. We've got a 2.6 implied total for Detroit, 3.5 for Pittsburgh. Jimmy Howard going up against Matt Murray. No real changes on Pittsburgh's side except for Kessel being moved down to the third line, Hornqvist up on the second line. I don't think we saw that last game. If we did, I didn't catch it. I just caught it this morning. But are we going to see some Pittsburgh relative chalk, I would say? Like, are we going to see double digits on either of these two lines, you think?
The tough part is that they are all spread out among the lines. Their power play is in a phenomenal spot. This is the best power play matchup of the night. If you just look at recent play, high danger chances 4 per 60 on the power play. Pittsburgh leads the league over the last little while. Detroit is the worst in the league over that time. Even 5-on-5, phenomenal spot for them too, as far as shot attempts and scoring chances or high danger chances allowed. So I think it's just the best spot on the board is Pittsburgh tonight.
Yeah. So are you trying to stack with power plays here then? Or are you going with even strength lines? I guess the second line may be a little bit more popular because you get Malkin and Hornquist at kind of a discount. But I don't know. I don't really know.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards the Malkin Hornquist line. The Crosby line's got way better numbers, but they're likely to go against Larkin here.
Yeah.
And the Detroit depth lines are pretty poor. So Malkin and Hornquist are in good spots, and you do have that power play correlation. So that'd be my lean. But if you're just playing a full even strength line, I would take the Crosby line. They're just better.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I do lean towards the Malkin and Hornquist combo, but you make a good point about, man, I didn't even realize Russ was that expensive. Maybe that's why I wasn't getting a ton of Pittsburgh one.
Yeah, he's been on a heater.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it can't hurt that he's playing with Crosby, but he was even doing that. Like, he had the hat trick game playing on the third or fourth line a couple weeks ago. So
yeah, we talked about it. He was a guy that was very good possession numbers and all that, but he was just never scoring. Yeah. And then finally, I guess variance or regression, positive regression, finally caught up to him.
No kidding. So yeah, I'm leaning towards Malkin Hornquist. That's going to be the line I have the most exposure to. Probably not dipping down to the Brassard, Pearson, Kessel line, even though I don't think that's like the worst idea. They're just probably not going to make the cut for me. And then on Detroit, it's all Larkin, Nyquist, and Advocator down to 2,800. I just like the value on Detroit 1, and that's really the only line I'll go to on Detroit. What about you?
Yeah, I do like it. I think the path of least resistance is the second line, though.
That's true.
Just given the matchup, I think the Crosby line's decent enough.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh is giving up a lot of high danger chances, so you do want some exposure to Detroit.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's actually tightened it up. I saw one of the beat writers tweeted using natural stat trick. Like, first 17 games, they were like, bottom 10 in scoring chances and high danger chances and all this, and then the last 17 games, they're like middle of the pack to top 10 in terms of shot suppression and chance suppression. So they've been
looking at their last 10 games, though. They're fourth worst on the slate.
Really? For high danger chances?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe they're doing that in like games 18 through 25 then. Who knows?
Yeah, possibly.
So Letang, you said it's one of the best power play spot on the board. I'm assuming you're going to have quite a bit of him at 6,400. Any other notable defenseman here?
He's the top defenseman option for me on the slate.
Okay, top on the slate overall.
On the slate overall, yeah.
Like
if you're paying up for anybody, it's him.
Okay. Cool.
But there's a lot of good spots though. Cheap guys, I don't know. They're just worth sprinkles. There's really. Oh, actually, you know what? This Ronick guy on Detroit. I've been using him a lot lately. He's getting a ton of usage. He shoots the puck a ton.
Yep.
Really, really good value play.
Yeah. Philip Hronik, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. He comes up for me a little bit too, just because he attempts quite a few shots per 60. So I'm with you there. Osmo also has him as an A value grade. So he is on the Hronik train. We got a question in chat. Draisaitl, Hayes, or Malkin, DK Cash.
For
me, it's Malkin.
Probably Draisaitl.
Really? Okay.
Oh, sorry, Malkin. Yeah, no. What am I thinking? Yeah, Malkin, but I think Draisaitl's a really good play too.
I agree. Yeah, Hayes is pretty clearly a third option.
Yeah, I just really like the Edmonton top line tonight as a stack, but yeah.
Yep, right there with you. We've got Howard and Murray in net, 8,200 for Matt Murray. Is that a little bit too expensive, or are you riding with Matt Murray?
It's a bit expensive for Murray. I'd rather take Kalak, I think, at 8K.
Yep. I do have, I'll have probably around 8 to 10% of Murray, but he's just going to be a guy that gets thrown in there because he's got good win equity. It's not because I think he's going to make a bunch of saves or has a great chance at a shutout or anything like that. All right, it's Carolina and the Washington Capitals. 2.8 implied total for the Hurricanes, 3.2 for the Capitals. Peter Mrazek, Braden Holtby expected to go for their teams. We've got Svechnikov on the top line with Aho and Teravainen, and they're super cheap. Capitals sticking with their same lines. Oshie on the top line with Backstrom and Ovechkin, and then Vrana, Kuznetsov, Wilson, who are playing at an incredibly high pace. Seems like quite a bit to like in this game. So what do you like, Steve?
I absolutely love Carolina 1. Aho owns the Capitals. Absolutely owns them. He
Really?
blew them. He blew them out of the water last game. His entire career, well, his short-lived career, but he owns the Caps. Absolutely crushes them every game.
Interesting.
So all in Carolina 1.
Really?
Yeah, especially with Svechnikov there.
Yeah. I'm assuming you think that's a big upgrade from Martinook. I mean, people have been calling for Svechnikov on the top line.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah.
just a little. But yeah, at a straight value play, I think that's one of the it's a really good line tonight.
Yep, they're gonna come close to hitting the cap for me. They hit the cap in my first few crunches, so they're probably gonna be right up there. You know, whatever I end up capping lines at.
Yeah.
Just too good of value to pass up. I like attacking the Capitals. You hear me say it all the time. They're not that great defensively. Like, even the Backstrom line hasn't been very good at limiting chances. But the Caps have been, the last couple of games, matching with Kuznetsov against top competition.
Yeah, they've been giving them, they've been playing against both top lines, but they've been playing the most time against opposing top lines. And as you mentioned at the top, they're very high event.
Yeah.
Trading chances and stuff. So.
Yeah, it should be fun. Carolina 1. Do you think they're going to be one of the higher owned lines of the night? No,
not at all. I wouldn't think so. Well,
2.8 implied total maybe, you're right.
Maybe. No, I don't see it. I don't see at Washington. I mean, on the surface, unless people paid attention to what they've done against Washington recently.
Sure.
I don't know, but as a value play, perhaps in higher stakes, I see them being higher owned.
Okay.
But just in regular large field contests, I don't see a ton of ownership.
Yeah.
Just look at all the awesome spots on the slate. Like,
that's true.
So many other spots. Most people generally don't like to pick against Washington, despite how bad they've been defensively lately.
Yeah. We both like to, though. So hopefully Carolina 1 is the nuts, because I'm going to be overweight. I'm sure you're going to be overweight on them as well. And Falk, just 4,200. I don't know if, off the top of my head, if Washington has a great kill. I don't think they do. And actually, I think they commit a bunch of penalties for the season. So they're tied for 4th with Detroit, with 127 times shorthanded in 3 less games than Detroit, and have a 76.4% kill. So,
especially lately. Carolina's projected for the most power plays on the slate as far as I've seen over the last little while.
Nice.
So I think good for their power play as well. And they're all on the power play.
Yeah, tons of sharp money on Carolina as well. They'll be 5%, Bobby Boom says. Maybe a little higher than that. I don't know. I hope they're 5%. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, any goalies or defensemen you want to talk about?
Not really. I don't love the goalies here. Defensemen maybe fall with that stack, as we talked about the power play, but Carlson's a bit expensive. As I said, I'd rather Letang's my favorite payoff option tonight.
Okay.
I think Kempny's reasonable.
Okay.
There.
45 for Kempny.
Yeah.
He's probably way cheaper on FanDuel, right?
Yes. I think he's below 4K.
Yeah. They're usually super late to react. It's just Falk, probably going to have a little bit of Carlson if I get to any Washington 1 or 2 for that matter. Wilson off the top power play, or off either power play, actually, he's 6,300. So kind of unplayable outside of a Washington 2 stack, but it does take away some of the appeal for me, even though they've played so high event. All right. Let's move it on to the Flyers and the Lightning. We've got a 2.8 implied total for Philadelphia, 3.7 for Tampa Bay. Michael Neuwirth in against Andrei Vasilevsky. We've got Tampa 2 back intact. Tampa 1, the Stamkos line is also pretty familiar. Haven't seen them in a while with Palat, Stamkos, Yanni Gord, but they are also back. And then we've got really a third viable line with Tampa as well. Good matchup against the Flyers, good power play matchup, all that stuff. So which lines do you prefer on Tampa here, Steve?
I always like the point line in general. I think they're the best line on the team. So whenever you can pay up for them, it's worth it. But I don't know. I mean, all Tampa lines can go off at any time. They're a pretty deep team, so yeah, their offensive numbers are all pretty strong.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I can't remember who we were talking about. Maybe we were talking about it with Tampa. Like, they could score like 5 goals here, but no line gets more than 2, and you're gonna need more than that on this slate, especially if it is Tampa 2 that does most of the damage. Like, you're still gonna need a lot from them. Do you know how matchups are gonna go in this game? You think we see point against the Couturier line or more against the Giroux, Van Riemsdyk, Konechny line?
Most likely against Giroux, I would think.
Giroux? Okay.
Yeah.
Both of those lines for the Flyers have actually been playing pretty low event in their short time together. I don't really expect that to continue. But yeah, I mean, hard not to like Point, Johnson, and Kucherov, even though they are pretty pricey. Stamkos numbers are very good as well. And then Tampa 3 is a filler if you're trying to get to Boston 1 or Edmonton 1 or something like that. I really, really like them as a low-owned tournament play in large field stuff.
Yeah, I like them too. They're the highest graded third line on the slate, I think.
Yeah. Anything on Philadelphia's side that you're looking at here?
No, I don't want to pick on Tampa Bay.
Yeah, so good at even strength, right? Is that your reasoning?
Yeah,
okay.
Just overall, and their penalty kill's been strong too.
Cool. I'm right there with you. And then Hedman, 5,700. Any of these other guys notable? McDonough, or I don't know, you punting with like a Girardi or Sergachev?
Probably not.
Okay.
I like Hedman at that price. It's pretty good. Not an all-in play, but it's a pretty good play.
Sure. And then Neuwirth, 6,700. Vasilevsky, 8,400. Is Vasilevsky one of the expensive guys you're paying up for, or not really?
Yeah, he's good. He's safe. I just don't, like as you mentioned, Philly's been playing low event, so maybe the shot total's not there.
Yeah, that's my issue with him. So I didn't really end up with much of him at all. I don't really plan to by the time we get to lock. So probably will forego much Vasilevsky exposure. And then Neuwirth, I also didn't get any of him. So I'm more than comfortable with that. Yeah. Got anything else in this game?
Not really. All Tampa.
Yeah.
No Philly. That's about it.
All Tampa. All right. Sabres and Blues, 2.8 implied total for the Sabres, 3.1 for the St. Louis Blues. Carter Hutton, Jake Allen in net. This is one that I haven't really spent too much time on this game. There's not really a ton I like on the Buffalo side, and then it's just pretty obvious value on St. Louis 1 here. But what am I missing here, or is it just all about St. Louis 1?
Yeah, St. Louis 1, fantastic value. I think it's a good spot. Playing against the Buffalo depth lines, most likely you probably see O'Reilly against Eichel.
Okay.
So it seems pretty straightforward for me. Just hammer St. Louis 1 in this game. Maybe have some exposure to Buffalo 1 just because of what they can do offensively, but only if you're playing a bunch of lineups.
Yeah. I really didn't get to much Buffalo 1 at all. I don't expect to. It's just a value thing. There are other lines that like around their price tag, so they're not really going to come up for me. I don't love targeting against St. Louis. Implied total under 3. They're probably going to get hard matched by O'Reilly. And, just all St. Louis 1 for me here as well. Shen, Schwartz, Tarasenko. You can have them for under 16K on DraftKings. You can throw in Vince Dunn if you want for 4,200, or Parayko if you'd like for 4,600. And that's really all I've got here. Going to come close to hitting the cap for St. Louis 1 for me.
Yeah. St. Louis 1 and both those defensemen are fine, I think.
Jake Allen, 7,200, the Jake Allen death train.
Yeah, let's give her a shot.
Yeah.
I think that's a good price. I think that's a really good price at home.
He's also going to basically hit the cap for me, judging by what I have right now. So he's at about 13% for me, which is pretty high for a goalie. I shouldn't go higher than like 15. So I'll have a lot of him, so I think that's probably why you should hedge a touch with Buffalo if you're playing a lot, but you don't need a lot. For sure. All right. Dallas and Nashville. We've got a 2.5 implied total for Dallas, 2.9 for the Predators. Anton Khudobin and Pekka Rinne in net. Rinne is expected to go, obviously confirm a half an hour before this game starts. We've got relatively cheap Dallas 1 for them. And then possibly some reinforcements coming for the Predators. Looks like they're going to get back Arvidsson and PK Subban. So huge boosts there. Kind of what that does for me is limit my Dallas 1 exposure. Still going to have some. I'm just so far in on them right now. I need to get even on them. Like, they are decently priced. I hate going into Nashville, but like you said off the top of the show, maybe we get a little bit less defense around the league, and they are still a really awesome line. So am I crazy for having some Dallas 1 here?
Yeah, I'd probably say so.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. You're the Dallas expert, so
No,
if you think they're worth it, then can include. I'll include some, but
yeah.
I just don't. They haven't been playing well at all.
Yeah, I've got 4% of them, so 4 out of 150, or I'm sorry, 6 out of 150. That would be,
Yep.
And that'll probably be over the field or with the field. So I just don't want to miss out at this point. Like, I've lost so much money on them this season, and they just create so many chances, and they never get there. So
yeah, Sagan hits a lot of posts. I hear you. I mean, the chances are there, but
yeah.
I gotta rush to the bathroom real quick. I don't know if you want to cover the Nashville lines.
Yeah,
with the guys coming back, I think they're a pretty decent enough play. Sure. But to specify which lines to go to, I'm not really certain there. So if you want to take that, I'll be right back.
For sure. All right, so we've got Johansson with Arvidsson and Cal Yarncroc, and then Fiala, Turris, and Smith. I actually really wanted to see Johansson with Arvidsson and Fiala. Obviously, you're not going to get that. I, oddly enough, didn't really get much Nashville 2. They're probably going to see some of the Spezza, Nichushkin, Gurianov line. They're going to see some of the Faxa, Pitlick, Como line. I don't really love targeting Dallas all that much. They play at such a slow pace, especially when they're at home. I also don't like targeting going into Nashville, but making somewhat of an exception for Dallas 1 here. But yeah, not really ending up with much Nashville at all. I think Arvidsson's price is pretty fair at $5,900, but kind of expect them to go up against Sagan, Ben, and Radulov for most of the game. So that being the case, I do give the edge to Dallas 1 a little bit. I honestly, this would probably be a game where if I'm making 20 lineups, I probably just cross it off outside of Yossi and Ellis. But playing 150 tonight, going to have a little bit of Dallas 1, going to have some Nashville 2, and then I kind of don't really have anything else besides those two defensemen, Yossi and Ellis. Probably staying away from Klingberg at 5,200 for the most part. And then I'd just rather get up to Yossi and forego Subban for 5K. Perfect timing.
Yep.
I
got that last part. I agree. Yeah, I'd much rather go Yossi than Subban coming back from the injury.
Or even Ellis for 44.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything in this game that you want to talk about, the goalies or anything?
At the prices, I think Rene's decent if he's starting. I don't know if we have anybody.
He's likely. I mean, it's the same thing that Nashville always does. They don't confirm until half an hour before. So if you got a bunch of Rene or if you got any Rene, just make sure to check at 7:30 Eastern and confirm he's going or not going, so you can swap or hold steady.
Yeah, I could see maybe a tournament dart on Khudobin, but I'm not super interested in the spot.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's going to be way less owned than like a Jake Allen. So if you like that at all, it's not going to take that much exposure to be over the field on him. Yeah,
I usually like to have a couple goalies in each price range,
yeah,
just to mix in. So I think he would be maybe a dart there. I'd probably have the most, obviously have the most exposure to Allen, but maybe a touch of him.
For sure, I like it. All right, Calgary and Winnipeg. 3 implied total for the Flames, 3.4 for the Winnipeg Jets. David Rittich, Connor Hellebuck in net for their teams. We have a pretty good spot for, maybe both teams, but I really like Winnipeg here. especially that top line, just in terms of raw points. And then the second line, pretty good value for them with Line only 6,200, Connor at 5,200, both those guys in the top power play. And just a game that is expected to have a bunch of shots. So what do you see here, Steve?
Yeah, we probably see the top two lines go head-to-head. And then the Lowry line goes against the Backlund line. So I really like Winnipeg too here in this spot. I think both Winnipeg line, the Winnipeg one as well is pretty good. They're pretty solid. They've been playing great lately. But I just think it's a really good matchup for Winnipeg too at a much cheaper price tag. So they're one of the cheaper lines, or one of the best values I've seen tonight. So I see myself having a decent amount of them.
Yeah. Just really big boost when you can get Connor and Line both in the top power play as well. And for whatever reason, their prices just come down, even though the total is big. Like, they're at home. I don't think DK takes into account the line matching at all. In fact, I'm 99.9% sure they don't.
Yeah. Certainly.
So they're going to get really favorable matchups. They're probably going to avoid the Backlund line. They're probably going to avoid the Monahan line basically the whole game. So, yeah, hard not to like them as a value. And are you going to Calgary 1 or 2 here for that matter?
I think I'd be more likely to play Calgary 1.
Okay.
I think, well, I mean, they're going to be going up against Scheifele. I think if I knew Calgary 2 was playing against Winnipeg 2, I would rather play them. Yeah. But I think the Lowry line's good enough, limiting offense from the other side. And I think that the Winnipeg 1 line is a bit more wide open.
Yeah.
At least on shots. So I'll take some chances on Calgary 1. They're all on the power play too, so that's appealing. Yeah. And they just have that multi-goal upside in a perceived tough matchup. So
yeah, I got 1%, one lineup of Calgary 1 out of 150 in my last crunch. So I can't really say I'm on them, but I definitely get it. Like, just if you take like 5 or 6 of these low-owned top lines that maybe are on the road tonight, I think that's a pretty good strategy. I'm not getting to Calgary 1 running through crunches, and they're probably going to go avoided for the most part tonight for a 3 implied total in a game that's expected to have a lot of pace. So wouldn't be the worst tournament play there.
No, and those are the kind of plays I want to make tonight. I think,
sure.
For those reasons. Also, Hellebuck hasn't been great lately. He's been giving up over 3 goals in his last 4 games. Yeah. So, and he's been seeing a lot of volume too. So they're giving up a decent amount. Yeah. Mostly against good teams though. But I think the Flames are a good team.
Yeah, I think a couple defensemen that will be amongst my highest exposed tonight: Giordano and Byfuglien. Giordano just pops for me every single night. As long as he's not priced at $7K, like 6,100, even though he's on the road, even though I don't love either of the top 2 Calgary lines, like I just get so much of him as a one-off because of the floor he's got there. Same with Byfuglien for just 5,600.
Yeah. Gio has an amazing floor, but then he also has that upside being on that power play, which has been a big part of their offense so far this year. So,
just shoots so much. So Svechnikov or Puri? That's an interesting one.
Svechnikov
for me. Yeah, everyone loves Puri. He's played well.
Oh, he shoots a lot, but I mean, I think he's got a low shelf life, a short shelf life, as far as what I've seen in his career. He'll resurrect for a couple days, and he'll go off. He'll be everyone's favorite, and then he just fades away, and then he gets cut.
For sure. All right, let's go to the next game. Do you have anything left on that one?
No, that's good.
All right. Minnesota Wild, Chicago Blackhawks. We've got a 3.2 implied total for the Wild, 2.8 for the Blackhawks. Devin Dubnyk, Colin Delia, or is it Delia, like the comedian?
I'm going to assume it's like the comedian.
Delia? Okay.
Yeah, I haven't watched him play, so I haven't heard the commentators.
Yeah, so he's coming off quite the wait, did he start that game?
Colorado game.
Yeah, he started the Colorado game. I couldn't remember if they went to Ward. Inspired performance, held them to 1 goal. I don't know. I mean, is this guy actually good, or should we be targeting against him here?
I think his AHL numbers, I was looking into it before the game, I think his AHL numbers were pretty good. So I think he's decent enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's fine.
Okay.
And I don't really like these Minnesota second and third lines. I don't like the way they set up there.
Neither do I.
So
So it's gonna
I
be
think that really hurts the Minnesota offense.
yeah. It's gonna be Minnesota 1 for me. I agree. Like I was
Yep.
looking at the Koivu, Parisi, and Niederreiter line just because we have a sample on them. They have really good numbers and they were pretty cheap as a trio. But now with Cunnin up there and Coyle, no power play correlation anywhere else on the other
Yep.
two lines. It's just gonna be all Stalzucker, Granlund. I think they're gonna be pretty low owned. I like the price on them, and then whether they get the Tays line or the Kane line, or maybe like a combo of both, I think they just have such a clear advantage over both of those lines. So gonna be hopefully over the field on Minnesota 1 here.
Yeah. I think that's pretty good. One thing though I've noticed is Chicago's played much better lately. Their underlying numbers support that too.
Okay.
At 5-on-5, they're giving up under 50 shot attempts per 60 now.
That's
Over
good.
the last 10. Their high danger chances have come down as well. On the penalty kill, their penalty kill has been brutal over the last 10. It's
Good.
been 68% over the last 10. But their underlying numbers are fantastic. They've gotten so much better. Like giving up a very low amount of unblocked shots and a very low amount of high danger chances against. And so that usually means goaltending's been the issue.
Okay.
And then if this guy's legit any good, that should help shore up the penalty kill, I think,
sure.
a little bit.
For sure.
And it's interesting, the Wild are complete opposite. Their penalty kill has been phenomenal, best in the league over the last 10, 94%. But their underlying numbers are horrible. Very high unblocked shot attempts against, very high danger chances against on the penalty kill.
Okay.
So their penalty kill's due for regression. They're due to give up some power play goals.
So are you looking at some Chicago skaters then here?
I'm considering them. I don't know if I have to tonight on this slate, but I kind of want to play some Patrick Kane in this matchup.
That's where I'm going to be. They usually shelter him pretty nicely at home. So I don't know. There's not really like super easy line when you're facing Minnesota. Like they've got three decent lines, or at least 2 out of the 3 players are solid. So that would be a line I prefer because you get Kane and Strome on the top power play. And like you said, maybe some power play penalty kill regression coming for the Wild here. So that's where
I don't know if
go.
Chicago's the team to do it, but because their power play's been so garbage. But if you look at who's on that power play, it's pretty good talent there.
Yeah, Kane, Tays, Strome, DeBrincat, Gustafson's fine.
Yeah.
Matt Dumba is out for the foreseeable future, like at least 3 months. So that could be a season ender, depending on how he heals, which sucks for the Wild. But that just means more playing time for guys like Spurgeon and Brodin as well. Both those guys listed on the top unit, but that's also not the unit that's with Stahl, Zucker, and Granlund. So if I'm going to them, it's going to be Suter if I can. Do you have a strong lean on any of these defensemen?
Not a strong lean. I do like Gustafson in general. Maybe Murphy as a punt. He's been active lately.
Okay.
I don't know if that's just a flash in the pan there or if he's actually getting involved a lot, but I'll take some shots on him at a pretty cheap price.
Okay.
And I do kind of lean Spurgeon over Suter just for the discount.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's understandable for sure. Suter goes in spurts of like attempting shots, and I don't know where he's at right now, but 5,300, like in a vacuum, I'd probably rather have Spurgeon over Suter, but you get the top power or the power play correlation with Minnesota 1, which is the line I'm going to be on for Suter. So that's
sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, Vancouver and Edmonton. Oh wait, do you have anything on the goalies there? Dubnyk, Delia?
Yeah, I could see taking a shot on Delia. Dubnyk not bad, but in general, haven't enjoyed playing goalies against the Hawks.
Yeah. I usually get a ton of Dubnyk, and I really didn't tonight. So I'm probably not going to have much of either side here. Is what it's looking like. So hopefully.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Dubnyk hasn't been bad, but he hasn't been getting wins lately. Hasn't been getting the goal sport.
Yep.
But otherwise, like he's played pretty decently.
Suter not a DFS play. That's fair. All right. Canucks and Oilers, one of our favorite lines of the night, I'm sure, is going to be in this game. 2.7 implied total for the Canucks, 3.2 for the Oilers. Jacob Markstrom, Mikko Koskinen going tonight in net. And how much Edmonton 1 are we having here?
Yeah, I'll have a decent amount of them. It's a pretty good value line for me tonight against the Canucks. It's in Edmonton. Just how do you not like McDavid here?
And full power play correlation.
Yeah.
So it's just Canucks also commit a ton of penalties. Yes, Markstrom has been playing well. Like, he's capable of some big performances, but no, I'm all over Edmonton 1 here. They're going to be another one that gets close to hitting my cap if they don't hit it entirely. So
yeah.
That's really... Go ahead.
I was just going to say one thing to say. I mean, it's not the special teams matchup we thought it was earlier in the year. If you look at the last 10 games or so, Vancouver's penalty kill has gotten much, much better. They have pretty much halved, or they've pretty much halved their high danger chances against on the penalty kill. Give a very few amount of unblocked shot attempts, and Edmonton's power play has regressed in all those offensive categories as well on the power play.
Well, yeah, Vancouver's power play or penalty kills should improve. They have so much game practice. Second most time shorthanded this season, so
yeah,
you're gonna get better, I suppose.
Yeah, they've only taken they're down there in time shorthanded over the last 10 games as well, so they've cut those down as well.
Got any other lines you want to talk about in this game? Goldobin back with Pettersson and Besser. Does that interest you at all?
That is appealing in a vacuum. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go there too heavily. Maybe have a little bit of exposure here.
I wanted, like, I always liked the idea of getting to them, but just the numbers I look at, it seems like I never get as much of them as I want. And I honestly, I got 0 in my last crunch of the
Pettersson never projects well for some reason. Yeah, so he's never a value, he never shows up. You have to force him in.
Right.
I find a lot of the times.
But like both Goldobin and Besser come up as decent values for me, and I still just never ever get to them. I don't know what it is. So
if you just look at even from Osmo's projections, he doesn't project very well at all either.
Yeah, I guess maybe just because Pettersson doesn't take a bunch of shots, he doesn't, like he doesn't get a bunch of shots on goal or anything like that. Maybe not as many high danger chances and stuff like that for my data. So.
Well, I think the thing is those skilled guys, they don't need as many opportunities.
Right, they're more efficient with their opportunities.
Yeah, they tend not to show up well in projections because their chances are limited, but they do bury them when they get them.
That is fair. Like, even McDavid on the other side, he's just so good that, like, he just attempts less shots than a lot of these other top guys, but, like, they're high danger chances and they go in all the time because he's incredible.
Yeah, and I think that's what the kind of on a tangent here, but that's kind of what the Islanders have been doing so far this year. Very limited number of chances, but when they do, it's quality. So that seems to be how they've been getting by. And when you have talent, I guess it helps. Yeah,
absolutely. Any defenseman that you like here? Edler 5,100. Osmo has him as an A points grade A value, and then Nurse A points grade B value. Some punt options on Edmonton. Anything you're looking at?
Yeah, I do like Edler a lot because he does have that good floor. I don't know if Edmonton's the value, like the volume team. Yeah. That he kind of needs for the shot blocks, but I can see him having a lot of ice time tonight, just coming off the break.
27 minutes in his last game, so they just ride him. So, I like Edler as well and Nurse to a lesser extent, but Edler more as a one-off guy, I think.
Yeah.
Goalies, Koskinen, Markstrom, 8K and 7K.
Markstrom's played well lately. I'm on the Edmonton side here.
Okay.
I just like the McDavid line a lot, and I think Koskinen at home is a good play as well.
I'll probably have some Koskinen, not really looking at Markstrom at all.
Yeah, the thing is the shot volume here from Vancouver. They've been not generating anything lately.
Yep.
But they're also low on the high danger chances for, which is good.
Yeah. All right. We've got how many games? 2 more games left? 3 more games?
Three.
All right. Avs and Golden Knights, 2.9 implied total for Colorado, 3.2 for Vegas. Philip Grubauer going up against Marc-Andre Fleury. Another top line at home that is providing quite a bit of value in Vegas's. And then super, super expensive Colorado one that's going to be pretty low owned. But yeah, what are you doing with this game here? Our buddy Furman South is officiating.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. I think that actually helps the Vegas power play here.
Yeah.
Colorado's been playing really poorly defensively over the last little while.
Yeah.
Maybe the break will reset them. Maybe they'll get back to shoring that up a little bit. But if you just look at 5-on-5, it's been terrible. Their shot attempts allowed per game over the last 10 or whatever. This recent play, shot attempts allowed, high danger chances allowed have been a lot worse than the league. So, and Vegas has been pretty good offensively in those categories. So I think that shapes up really good. Colorado's still generating a lot of power plays.
Yeah.
Which is something to do. And then now, I don't know what to read into Furman South these days. He's still tops in the league in all the penalty categories.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's cooled it down a little bit. But the penalty kill has been pretty poor for the Avalanche. They're giving up a real high amount of unblocked shot attempts against on the power play. And Vegas has heated up a little bit on their power play.
Yep. Yeah, you mentioned everything. So Vegas won. Maybe a little bit of a boost with Furman in there. Maybe not. But Colorado takes a ton of penalties already. They're tied they're third by themselves in time shorthanded this season, 78% kill for the season. And then I expect Carlson, Marchessault, Smith to see a bunch of time against Colorado 1. Probably against the top two lines, really. But should see a bunch of minutes. And yeah, I guess that second line is okay for me for Vegas. I would have really loved Tuck on the top line with Carlson and Marchessault, which is what it was, I think, for one game before the break. But Smith is $1,100 cheaper and still on the top power play. You could still go with Tuck instead of Smith if you wanted to. But yeah, really, really like Vegas here. I had 0 Colorado 1, which is something I probably don't want to do. You expect them to be pretty low owned, right?
They're expensive, and I could see Boston 1 getting more ownership at that price range.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They're good too. I mean,
yeah,
Vegas, their penalty kill has been giving up a decent amount of high danger chances, and Fleury hasn't played well lately. Vegas in general has been a little leaky defensively, especially when Pacioretty's not in the lineup for some reason.
So I have quite a bit of Fleury, and then that's probably going to come down a little bit. I'm going to force in like a few Colorado 1 lineups, and whether it takes me like stopping my crunch a few lineups before and like forcing in the last few is Colorado 1. I'm gonna have some exposure to them just because it would be dumb not to low own Colorado 1 on a big slate. Like you just have to. They're arguably the best line in the NHL. So
no, they're a slate breaker for sure.
Yeah, I can just see it now. Like Colorado 1 just breaks everything. Same with Boston 1, but they're more obvious, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Tyson Barrie, 4,900. Price is coming down quite a bit. Theodore Schmidt. Who else? No Colin Miller tonight for Vegas. That's a little bit of news. But Theodore at 4,300, I think, is going to be pretty popular with the Vegas 1 people. So any of these defenders you want to talk about?
They're all fine options. Theodore at 4,300, yeah, it's good fit there. Top power play unit.
Sure.
I think he makes the most sense in this one. Barrie, obviously, his price helps you stack with Colorado there, so I think he's fine. And then just a lot of decent to okay options for the rest of the game.
Agreed. Arizona and LA, 2.6 implied total for the Coyotes, 2.8 for the Kings. Darcy Kemper. Is it going to be quick? He's unconfirmed right now. Anyways, this one...
Not sure.
I don't love a ton in this game, but if you just look at the implied totals, yeah, they're low, but the prices are even lower relative to the implied totals. So could see a decent amount of value coming from this game, like just from optimizers. Not really from my projections, but I'm getting like pieces of this game. LA won a little bit with Kopitar being so cheap, and I think the Schmaltz line I was getting a little bit of as well. So do you like anything in this game, Steve?
Yeah, I think these are just filler lines in general.
Hmm.
I don't mind them, but for the price, I think they're pretty solid values. Yeah, it would be probably LA one. I do like, and then either of the Arizona lines, leaning more towards the Keller line in
Okay.
general.
That's fair. Yeah, I think you
Yeah,
usually lean towards the Keller line, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Galchenyuk's very boomer bust.
Yeah. They're just so cheap on both sides, and like I like attacking LA, but not really all that much with Arizona. So, like these are you can fit a bunch of these lines with Boston one or Colorado one, which is like really their only appeal.
Yeah,
If there
exactly.
wasn't a couple super expensive lines, then I don't think we'd even be looking at these guys, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Anything else in this game? This one's not really that interesting to me at all.
Goaltenders.
Okay.
It's about. I think it's a good goaltender game.
Sure.
Defensemen, I think they're just some okay options. Muzzin's been a little bit better lately, as far as the shots and blocks and all that. Doughty's under 5K now. That's fine. Not
Yeah.
great, but he's just fine. I do like Ekman Larson there at
Okay.
4,500 as well.
Yeah, pretty good price there for
Yeah.
Ekman Larson, and then maybe Chikrin for 3,700 for me. I'm getting a little bit of him, but that's really about it. I do like the goaltenders. I will probably have more of Quick, but no issue with Darcy Kemper either at 7,600. I think that's a fine price for him.
Yeah.
All right, last game of the night, we've got the Anaheim Ducks and the San Jose Sharks. 2.5 implied total for the Ducks, 2.9 for the Sharks. Gibson against Martin Jones, as expected. We've got just a complete blender on the Sharks. Lucas Radil with Couture and Timo Meyer. Sorensen with Thornton and Pavelski. Kane with Hurdle and LeBanc, which is actually an okay line, but three wingers on DK, so makes it tough if you are using Fantasy Cruncher or another optimizer to try to jam them in at even strength. I don't know. Do you like any of these Sharks lines?
Yeah, first and third, I think.
Okay.
I mean, Riddell, I like that he's 2,500,
Yeah.
and he's apparently been playing well. He's a good value playing with Couture and Meyer. I think helps bring down the cost of the line. And I just like San Jose in general. I think it's a good team matchup against Anaheim.
Yeah. I was gonna smash Couture, Meyer, Hurdle. Until we saw morning skate. So I wrote them up earlier, checked the Stacks article. I just made an update and made a note that these guys weren't all skating together, but it's kind of annoying for the power play correlation because at least you got Couture with Hurdle on the top unit. But I guess still a good even strength line. Radil at 2,500, like you said. Really awesome value playing with Couture and Meyer. So that's probably going to be the line I get to most. And I want to find a way to get in Kane, Hurdle, and LeBanc. But are there any double center lines tonight, do you know? Edmonton?
Yeah, Edmonton. There you go.
Okay.
Perfect
Is that the only
fit.
one?
Well, San Jose one, you could do the double.
Oh, yeah. The
First and third.
Josh stack. Perfect.
Yeah. I didn't notice anything obvious other than that. You'd have to be power play stacks or something.
Yeah, for sure.
But in general, so I would have been on that, just like you. Yeah, I definitely would have been on that Couture line prior to today's line combo changes. Getzlaf, they switched up his winger. It's not Aberg anymore. It's Richie, and I think that helps them defensively. I think Richie's better possession wise than Aberg was. So I think that makes that Ducks top line better.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that Sharks third line there, going against the weaker third line of the Ducks.
Gensel just signed for 30 mil. Holy shit. That's what Vaughn
For what,
said.
like
How many
6
years? How many years?
I'm guessing that's a 6 year.
6 years? Jeez.
I'd put him at a maybe 5 or 6 year, something like that.
All right then. Anyways, did you say you were on any of these Ducks lines, or no?
I'll take a shot on the top line.
Okay, that's the only
it.
one I was getting to.
Yeah.
Kasha.
I'll take a shot with Richie there.
Yeah.
I think that helps them. Getzlaf and Kasha together have had pretty solid numbers when they're not with Aber. So
yeah,
I do like them.
Another Minnesota kid getting paid. Yep. All right. Any way you want to sum up the slate or anything you want to talk about? You want to talk about MMA at all? You got an article coming out, huh?
Yeah, there's a big pay-per-view on Saturday, so yeah, looking forward to that. I'll have an article up tomorrow. As far as this slate goes, just like we said at the top of the show, they're coming off the Christmas break. Expect some randomness tonight. Maybe some top lines coming through and perceived difficult matchups. It's kind of a spread it around night.
Yeah.
It's really hard to kind of narrow it down on such a huge slate.
Yeah. If you're MMEing, I think, like Steve said, spread it around. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. There's going to be a lot of weird stuff that's going to happen. At least that's how we expect it to go.
Yeah.
So hopefully variance is in your favor. I think it is a really great MME night. Play that $5 if it's still open and it's within your bankroll means. And I think FanDuel's got a $4, right?
Yeah, they're standard. They're standard off.
Okay.
Nothing special there.
Yeah. Maybe we should get some Yahoo NHL overlay, huh?
I wish I could play on Yahoo.
Oh, yeah, you can't play.
Canadians are banned.
Yeah, you and Nolan can't play.
Yeah. You might have to run that show.
Yeah, I'll just take all the Yahoo money, us and all the
Yeah.
American subscribers here. All right, but we will have a show tomorrow. I think it's a 3 or 4 game slate.
3.
So
Yeah.
it's 3. Yeah, so I'll just jump on and you guys can troll me or whatever. We'll talk about how much money we lost tonight. And yeah, thanks for joining, guys. Hopefully you enjoy your holiday break if you're still on break. And we'll see you tomorrow. Good luck.
Cheers, guys. Good luck.